and it hit under Trina's foot pretty hard. So I thought I'll get out and check the water.
Sitting by the fireside, really feeling that I like every little time that I get a chance to close my eyes. If you're gonna make it soon, maybe we could get our room, but I need some rest from gloom, otherwise I feel I'm doomed. You be looking over like you really know me. Maybe take a picture, take a couple, guess it's free. I don't wanna give another guarantee. Look me in the eyes right now, run away with me. Or to a
Alright, Oodnadatta Track. It's been one of the things that I think I've always liked the name since I was a kid. Never did I know it started at Eyre, where we spent last night in the hotel. Cost us nothing to stay behind if you buy food, drink, whatever. So we ended up having dinner there, so it probably cost us more than a normal campsite. But they had showers, they had a pool, they had everything, and it's the first proper outback pub that I reckon we had that feel of like bringing the community together. All the locals come and have a chat. The owners who have been in there for 18 months also own the Eyre company around here. I think it's called Eyre. Apologies, I might check that. But we're having a chat to them. They don't know what to do when they're running a pub, but they're doing pretty well, I reckon. So a few people parked up last night. Both of me and Mum did not sleep very well at all. It was super hot. I think it's still 25, 26 in the middle of the night. So yeah, anyway, this episode is not about Eyre, but the Oodnadatta Track. As I said, since a little kid, just love the name of that place. And yeah, Eyre is where Oodnadatta Track starts, also where the Birdsville Track starts if you come from this way. From what we hear, conditions aren't too bad. We'll soon find out, but we've done everything we can. We've got fuel, we've got jerry cans loaded, we've got all the water on board in the tanks of the caravan. We've got a couple of extra jerrys of water as well. We've got a bladder inside the car of water. I don't think we need it all because we're not going to be on the track that long. Just more precautionary, because if it does, like if something does happen, it's going to be close to 40 degrees I think tomorrow, and mid to high 30s today. So let the tires down, about 38 cold on the caravan and the back, and I've gone down to 30 in the front of the car. So, but as I said, I think the heat's going to be more what we're a little bit concerned about rather than the actual track itself from talking. But we don't know. This is our first time we've ever done it. So anyway, strap yourself in. I don't know what we're gonna see. Mum's the navigator. She's gonna do a bit more navigating this time. So, you ready to navigate, Mama?
Yeah, got the wiki camps ready this time.
Rightio. What do you reckon? Woo! What do you reckon, kids? Big track. Here we go. You ready? Don't seem so excited. Woohoo! And one last thing, we've covered up our air vents for the very first time on the van. We don't have too many. Still have the old compressor, the three-way fridge ones. Even though we've got a two-way fridge. But I just wanted to show you what Mum's done. She shoved the pizza-shaped box there, so adds a bit of colour. Anyway.
Hey now baby, I'm a-moving with your vibration. Hey now baby, got me losing my concentration. Hey now baby, don't you tease me with your temptation. Hey now baby, won't you leave me with my frustration. Hey, 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 never mind what I just said. Hey, 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 it's only voices in my head. Hey,
So Stephen and Jeffrey, two guardian angels. I think we're like 45 k's into the Oodnadatta, and we'd hit a big rock because it is quite rocky. This is probably not a great section to show you, but there's very few corrugations at this stage, but it's just very rocky, and like some are probably bigger than my fist. Anyway, we hit one, and it hit under Trina's foot pretty hard, so I thought I'll get out and check the water. The fuel tank. Fuel tank seemed fine, but then I come and check the Caravan, and we'd taken off the discharge of our first water tank, and this tap here was also leaking. But that for me is a little bit susceptible as well. But there's not much I can sort of do, so if you do have any suggestions, let me know from that one. Which is our inlet into our Caravan. So this was just clearing sheet off. So they've done a bog job with some silicone tape, a couple of clamps. I've got the multi-grip strapped up here because they're clamping the end of the hose so we can get to the fix. And we've replaced this tap here. So I reckon it took them, I don't know, maybe, well, it's 45 minutes, an hour. Of stuffing around and us having some tools but not the stuff we needed to replace that hose. So it's really good learning for us. And yeah, we've got something fixed that potentially would have lost us 90 litres of water. Now Oodnadatta, it's not so much the length of the drive, because it's like, well, another 60 k's to Coward Springs and then another 100 k's to William Creek. It's more the heat. So if you do break down and you need water, then you've got it. So we can just go easy on showers or whatever for the next couple of days. We're not out here for a week, we're not out here for 10 days. We're going to do it over a couple of days, so that shouldn't be an issue. And kind of glad we stopped when we did and not lost that whole tank of water, which it just would have kept draining. The other thing was, we pulled over to stop here, I saw it happen, and 2 minutes later they come the other way and just asking if everything's okay. In that hour since they've been here, one other car come through maybe 40 minutes after, so we would have been stuffing around probably more with gaffer tape and just trying to plug it with nothing, and probably slowly losing it as we go. So anyway, it's a good learning for us really early on in the trip. We're probably going to slow it down a little bit further. We were kind of doing 80, probably going to drop that back to 60, 70 and just see how we go from here. So onwards and upwards. So another, I don't know, another 10k down the road. I don't think I stressed how helpful Gregory and Steve were. They were driving their 1960, well, Steve's 1960 international truck. Absolutely tip top. We didn't want to film them. We gave them some beers, but they had the parts that we needed. They had the expertise that we didn't have. We seem to have the tools, but not the parts. So something for when we get to Coober Pedy just to stock up on. The road itself is fine. I think the York Peninsula had worse roads so far. There's no corrugations whatsoever. But yeah, anyway, our first stop, the Sculpture Park. What do you reckon of this place?
Not sure that I had to sit in the car or like for an hour.
Yeah, that wasn't good, was it, baby? The kids lost the plot because it is a bit warm. I think it's probably more the flies, because we turned the car off and let the air in, and the flies get in as well. So flies aren't the big flies, they're just these little fellas, but they're still bloody annoying. And Eva and I have been having some issues with blood nose. Did you have another blood nose last night? Yeah, same. So it just must be the heat. Anyway, Sculpture Park, let's go check it out. What's this first thing?
2 planes stuck together or something.
What?
Did they crash?
Ah, excuse the top. Just probably another 30k down the road. Maybe another 15k out of Coward Springs. We're going to stop for a dip. Just want to keep showing the road conditions. We keep stopping for toilet breaks for the kids. So every time we do that, I'll get out and have a look. But like the corrugations have probably started picking up a little bit more. You've kind of got some bigger ruts that you kind of drive in. But yeah, we've been sitting 70k an hour. Kind of feels comfortable. A few little ups and down dips and that where you have to slow down for. But the rockiness, like if the rocks are there, the corrugations are there. And when the rocks go away, the corrugations start again. So still, this is not a bad track. This is, obviously we've done a bit of damage, but this is not, it's just a long track. Like it's, well, longer than you like we've driven 20k on a Cockle Creek. We've probably driven further on some of the York roads, which are crisscross, and even Kangaroo Island. But yeah, this track's fine at this stage. So this is Lake Eyre South. Lake Eyre South, Mama?
Yep.
We don't.
A little something like that.
We don't actually know whether this is a lookout we're supposed to be, but there's a road here and it looks like you can camp here. People have camped. So I don't know whether that's water or not. Probably salty. A little bit salty like Dad was before when we had some caravan issues. So anyway, I think that's more of a lookout. This is pretty cool. Lake Eyre, obviously the biggest lake in Australia. It is also the largest internal inland draining catchment in the world, meaning it doesn't flow out to the ocean and gets kept. So I might actually get the drone up here just to see if we can get some different textures. Sun's at its highest point, so that'll mean reflection against the drone, which is never a good time to put it up. But hey, we can't pick and choose when we do things on the Oodnadatta, especially when we get held up for an hour. What's life like on the Oodnadatta?
Pretty good. It's pretty roasting hot and it's only early yet, so no doubt it's going to be scorching in a few hours. But it's been pretty good. The road's been really good so far, I thought.
Yeah.
Only a couple of corrugations about 20 k's ago.
How many cars we passed?
Oh, 3.
And including one that was Gregory and Steve.
Yeah, which happened to be 1 minute after we needed them.
Yeah, but yeah, we've gone past probably three cars for, well, nearly 100 k's.
Yeah.
Another person's pulled up behind us at the sculpture park, so they're probably not too far away either. But I might get this drone up and stop talking and see what's out there.
My hair on the open road,
So we finally arrived at Coward Springs. It feels like it's been all day before we got here. I think it's about, what, 20 past 1 or something? Yeah, it's been long to get in. It's about 120 k's from Eyre, so can I go and see if we can get in the pool here? There's not many others around. There's another caravan at the site, so maybe they're in the pool already. Costs $2 per adult and $1 for the kids at half price. So I don't know what to expect of this. It's that hot. I don't know whether a hot natural spring is going to be that refreshing. So anyway, these flies are friendly. Baby, how is it?
Stand up or not? Take your shoes off, buddy.
And we got Will Boy up the back there. Give us a wave, Will. Wave.
That's just monster. That's great.
Don't know whether it's supposed to put your head under, but here we are. So this is obviously man-made. You got moss and all that sort of floating around.
Sand on the bottom.
Got a sandy bottom up one end, sort of rocky up the other end. But it's not as hot as what I expected, which is really good. It's still, like, it's not a freezing pool or anything. It's actually,
I reckon it'll be about, what, 25?
it's super refreshing. Like, super refreshing. Chelsea, don't. Oh, this is glorious. This is glorious. What's the song? Well, I think you can probably tell from our reactions in the pool, it was damn delicious, wasn't it, babes?
Mm-hmm.
How good was it?
It was good.
Perfect temperature, just really refreshing on a day like today. So, to be honest though, like, there's a museum here, there's a whole other bunch of mounds and springs and whew, but it's just too warm. Kids need lunch, Will needs to sleep. So we're going back to do that, and then we'll keep tracking towards Willie Creek. Not Willie Creek, actually, I shouldn't say that because there is a proper town named Willie Creek. William Creek. I think it's about 100k from here or something like that. There's a pub there. Cold beer, they tell me. So it's got my name written all over it. Just left Curtin Springs after some delicious dipping. The road just before Curtin Springs was probably the worst we've seen so far today. Again, it was like for 2k's maybe. We're back to some pretty big rocks again now, so just being careful there. Just wanted to stop and just a little bit of info on what we're having for lunches, Mum, on the road while we're on the road.
Yeah, I feel like I've just had my school lunch because this morning for breakfast I had a chocolate chip loser bar. I've just had a ham and cheese wrap, and now I'm having an apple splash juice box because apparently the kids don't like these ones. So, as I nearly ate a fly.
Yeah, every time you stop, the flies will get in. And then you've got to fight with them for the next 20k to get them all out again. So you just wait till they land on the window and then sort of shove them out the door. I've eaten 2 today, but yeah, lunches are pretty boring when you're on the road, pretty much go. I think though we could probably spice them up a little bit, just so, because the kids will get sick of eating the same stuff. I'm sick of eating ham and cheese sandwiches, and we're not always going to be able to get bread and that. So yeah, this time they're sort of going okay, and it's quick and easy and all that. Every now and again we throw in what, tuna and avo on some crosscuts. It's been really good. A bit of tomato as well. Trina always makes a mess of my slide out table when she does them. So
whatever. Ash needs to start making his own lunch by the sounds of it.
Oh, I reckon we've done 50k since we last spoke at Curtin Springs, or just out of there. There's some ruins behind us. There's a few of these. This is probably the worst shape I've seen the ones in. Beat up old car over there as well. But yeah, the road's kind of been, I think my lack of sleep from last night's kind of catching up with me, because there's a whole lot of nothing. There's not much of not much, really. It's been a whole heap rockier. Excuse me, whole heap rockier. Probably just finished, and we're sort of back onto some more smooth stuff. It's just draining, like driving over the rocks. You're just trying to dodge anything. Well, I am anyway, trying to dodge running directly over any big stuff. And you're only moving like a tyre width there. But yeah, it's warm. I think the kids had enough. Will's asleep in there. I think by my calculations, we're probably 25 kilometers out of William Spring. So don't know what else is between here and there. There hasn't been much for the last 50 k's of driving. So we just sort of punched on through. 36 up here. And I'm tired. I need a beer. Oh, we've arrived. Where have we arrived? Where have we arrived?
Fly City, Snake City, Outback City.
Rightio, Outback City, Fly City, Snake City. Where are we, babes?
Actually, we're in Willstown.
William Creek. I don't know. We got here. You can see we've unhitched at the back there. That's because we found a powered site. I did not know this place had powered sites.
And I've made a friend.
Eva's made a friend in the middle of nowhere. There's another little girl staying next to us, which is cool, because it's been so long since, well, so long, probably 10 days, 2 weeks, a week, I don't know, something. And it just, I don't know, it's just more enjoyable for the kids that way. And didn't think this would be a place where we'd do that. So anyway, I thought we were going to stay behind the pub, and that's what you did, but there's actually a caravan park directly across, and they've got solar here, they've got camp kitchens and lots of things, so they've got drinking water apparently as well. So I don't know, it's close to as hot as I've ever been in my life. It's over 40 in the end. Sweat me tits off, to be honest. And then yeah, I'm gonna go for a walk, gonna go to William Creek Hotel, have a few beers, just enjoy it. It looks pretty cool. I had to go there and pay before, so looking forward to it. Where are we going?
To the pub.
To the pub. You said to the pub.
To the pub.
I don't actually know where they're updated either. 40 bucks a night for power, but the last part of the track to William Creek. So from here we can go northish to the Pink Road House, which is another 200k tomorrow, or we can go cut across to Coober Pedy. Look, with the weather, that is sounding mighty enticing. But I really want to see the Pink Road House. It's kind of like the thing, and that's at Oodnadatta, and it's the Oodnadatta Track. But yeah, the last part of the road since we last chatted wasn't bad. There was some good sections. Poor old guy got like 10k out of town, and he had popped a tyre, so stopped to see if he needed help, but he was all good. But yeah, just when you're so close to something like this and you do that, that would be an absolute bitch. Anyway, beers are calling my name here, they. Ash, ash, ash.
You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone.
Well, I don't know where it's just because we're in the shade for like whole 2 seconds.
I had a cold shower.
Or it's actually starting to cool down, but I'm starting to feel a little bit cooler. Maybe I'm acclimatizing. Maybe I'm used to this.
I'm gonna ring the bells.
40-degree heat. Yeah, so Eva's paid, you got to pay $2. There's a bell at the bar to ring. Might even try and film it and look like a loser in front of all the guests there. We're going back to William Creek pub for dinner now, which is literally, how far? 400 meters? Trina would have been no good at little ass, saying it's only 200.
400?
400, that's a good 400.
Feels like 400.
Michael Johnson, remember Michael Johnson? Upright stance, US Olympic team running 400 meters. That was like, he's one of my highlights growing up, and I don't know why I remember that. Anyway, we went out for dinner last night at the Murray pub. Good. Now we're going out for dinner tonight at William Creek pub.
Apparently the backpacker is a shit.
So, it's not something we do all the time, but to me, these pubs are part of the track. They're part of, I don't know, the experience. And we spend a few more bucks, we spend a few more bucks. I don't know, we went there before, it's a really cool vibe. Had a few more beers than I was thinking I would today, given the heat. And maybe that's why I'm talking rubbish right now. So, Eva's gonna ring the bell. She's ready to ring it. Will's on his iPad. Devices everywhere. We're trying to keep him happy in the heat. Mum is probably on the shots. Anyway, there's flight.
As I said, I had made a friend.
And Eva's made a friend in the middle of nowhere. She hasn't had a friend in all the Flinders Ranges or anything like that. Turn up here. She's made a friend. She's keen to get back and play with her later tonight. Rocket ship over there. Woo! Alright, big ring. Give it a big one. You gotta hit it at the end of it. Hit the end with it.
No, hold it.
This, like this.
That way.
Good job.
Yeah.
The red light flashing there on the radio tower. Ready? Morning. Change of plans this morning. We're not going to the Pink Roadhouse. I kind of can't believe it in many ways. It's just the heat, but also we did a bit of research last night. We can get into one of the underground stays at Coober Pedy tonight, but not tomorrow. So if we go to Pink Roadhouse, we can't get to Coober Pedy with the way the track is. We have to come back to William Creek. So that's 400 kilometers of driving to get back here. Yesterday we only did 200 and it took us like 6 hours. So, I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence. Always sort of thought it's a bit weird when you watch other people do the Oodnadatta Track and then not go to the Pink Roadhouse. And now that's going to be us. The Pink Roadhouse is at Oodnadatta. It's kind of what it's named after. But, to be honest, it's going to be 39.40 today. Kids aren't having much fun other than when they're playing with their mates, and they're gone off exploring again today, so that's not going to happen. So yeah, sometimes you just have to do a little pivot and shuffle, and that's what we're doing today. We're going to sleep in a real bed for the first time in 70 days, and yeah, just enjoy it, I think. Oh, this is the turn. Oh, she's very corrugated here. 160k to Coober Pedy. I'm just trying to pick a line because it's pretty rocky. Yeah, topped that with fuel this morning. $3.20. Nice and cheap. But there's nothing else. You can't do anything about it. In fact, actually, a little bit of a tip. If you are coming the same direction as us, fill up at Lyndhurst or even Lee Creek, because Eyre jumps like 60 cents a litre. So yeah, supposedly this road's been graded, so I'm hoping it's just this little bit out of the corner that's a bit rough. But we survived the first day with dust pretty well. There's a little bit in the car here, but that's just because we have windows down and all sorts of things. You look out the back window and it is super dusty, like what you're flicking up. But our Caravan survived pretty well, I think, don't you think?
Yeah.
We've only covered 2 vents. There's a couple still uncovered, but I think we did okay. Touch wood, because we've still got a lot of dirt to go in front of us. Hoping for more of the same as yesterday. Just take it slow on the big rocky patches and any heavily corrugated stuff, and get into Coober Pedy, I don't know, 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock maybe. Check into our underground places too, so that's kind of our goal. Just nurse everything there. So fun times. William Creek, I loved it. Like it kind of made up for the second half of the drive yesterday, which I found a little bit boring. It was really good. The pub was great. It had a lot of character. Food was decent. People, like, they're all traveling, so even the guys behind the counter, they were all pilots. So everyone's up for a chat. It's just a good place to sort of hang out. And the caravan park, like, we did not expect that at all. Water, power, showers, hot showers, just clean. Like, they're doing a lot of work around it at the moment as well, so getting ready for tourist season, but I was not expecting that at all. So what do you reckon?
Yeah, it was really good. Eva made a friend, which was great.
Didn't want to leave her this morning.
It was, you do very much feel like you're in the middle of absolute nowhere, but yeah, it was really good. Services were great, friendly staff. Will, what'd you think?
Good, but they get going back on.
Oh, of course you do.
Check out his garage.
Eva, what'd you think of Williams Creek?
It was good and much fun, and we went to the pub.
Yeah.
I liked the chicken nugget.
Chicken strips in the end.
Back from another funeral. Why should I stay here, but where can I go? Bother, or are you sick of it all? Why do you stay and nowhere to go? No one could love you like I do. We're breaking up. What kind of virus am I to you? Crazy of night, I am the view. We make a castle to ruin. And now we see it all tumbling down.
Alright, so about 60k from William Creek, 100k to go to Coober Pedy. The rough bits have been probably rougher than yesterday, but look at this. This is like pristine. You could putt off this. Trina's shaking her head. No, look at this. This is super smooth. A lot more red in the dirt today. As Trina drops the ducks in the background. A lot more red in the sands today. Gone through some like dried up lakes and that. Today's drive, the 60k so far, for me, has blown yesterday's drive out of the water. It's just nice. There's more colour. There's more to see. Not much from a history point of view or anything like that. Like, it doesn't have the GAN that the Oodnadatta Track does, but I've really liked this this drive so far. And we've got 100k to go. So fingers crossed everything stays intact. Car's performing well. Bouncing across a couple of the real corrugated areas. So like, you lose your teeth after a while. So anyway. Okay, moving. So another stop, lunch stop this time. So we just passed the grader, probably 15k, 20k ago. So this last section's been, well, last section, we've still got 50 odd K to go, and things change like that. But no, this last little bit's been good. So just doing a bit of a check on the van as well. Like you can see, just anywhere this deck can stick, it sticks. I haven't had a good look inside of the van, but around the wheel, like inside the door, there's not much getting in at the moment. So famous last words, because we haven't checked things out amazingly. Tyres are holding up. Poor old Eva's bike, copping a flog on it there. I'll just show you, because the back of the van tends to suck up more than anything from a dust point of view. I've got firewood bag there, spare tyre bag, the garbage, poor old Will's bike on the back here, like the chain, they're all going to need a good wash. It's one of the reasons we went cheap with that. Gaffer tape on the hot water system. The pizza shop box fell off. Pizza shaped box fell off. So we've got the internal one from a 30 block of 4X gold. But no, it's all looking good. Touch wood, it stays like that. Same again, like this part of the drive has been really cool. There's some like reds, there's the whites and yellows of the road, and then you got some black rocks, and I don't know, I got some drone footage, so I hope that sort of shows it as well. Nice and cloudy, which is keeping the heat of the sun off. It's still warm, like still plus 30 something, but it's not that scorching hot. It almost looks like there's a little bit of rain out here, which you don't want to be on the Oodnadatta Track if it's wet. For two reasons. The road itself gets super slippery, and the other reason is if the rains come in heavy, you get stuck. Like you literally can't. It's impassable. So you have to sort of bunk it down somewhere else. But yeah, get some lunch into us, get in the Coober Pedy, and check out that as well. So. And the other thing I'll say, we have not seen a car today other than the grader and a water tanker doing the roads. Yesterday we saw 4, so in 2 days, in about 8 hours driving so far, we've seen 4 cars. I don't think, like we might do longer tracks on our trip, but I don't think we'll be as remote as we are, and especially not in these 40-degree days, than what we are right now. So look, the track's not the hardest to do. It's just a longer version of any gravel road you've been on. There are some sections that have been a bit dicey. You just slow down for that. It's kind of hard to. You can drive faster, but then it takes you longer to slow down. So if you come into a dip, if you come into a floodway, if you come into a grid doing too high a speed, like as we saw yesterday with one of the guys, your tyre just goes like that. So it's better to be safe than sorry. It is hard to drive, I reckon, slower than what you can actually go. But it's just driving to those conditions and looking after your car and your family inside, because you don't want to be stuck out here with no people around on days like yesterday especially. If this cloud clears today, it's going up near 40. So it's just about car management, people management. Kids have been on their iPads all day. It's not really conditions for them to be outside all day. They don't really want to be in the heat. Too many flies around, which you're going to see a lot of on the trip, but it's pretty boring for the kids, to be honest. So yeah, anyway.
Would you hold me if I told you we can just run away? So come, my darling, let me help you. We can follow the sun and leave the rain for somebody else. Let's help ourselves, leave our troubles upon the shelf. And don't you worry, we're gonna find all we need in our sunset paradise. All the sidewalks and the highways, they will turn into dust as Mother Nature covers over every street we take, and lead the way for somebody else their troubles upon the shelf. So don't you worry, we're gonna find all we need in our sunset paradise. Hey. Leave it all for somebody else to help themselves. Leave their troubles upon the shelf.
Oodnadatta done, kinda, but done from us. We've just arrived, 36 degrees in Coober Pedy, largely in one piece. Sort of held on. So
We were pretty slow at the end there, but
yeah, the last 50k in the Coober Pedy was very rocky. So it was a crawl because it's just big rocks that just flick up everywhere. So I just want to protect under the car. 4 cars, total of 4 cars went past us the other way, and 1 grader. Very pleasing sign to see that grader. But yeah, 4 cars over 2 days. What, maybe 9 hours of driving, 8 hours of driving.
and there was none of those cars today.
A little bit crazy. Yeah, we didn't pass the car today. In 166k, which took us probably 2.5, 3 hours. So, Oodnadatta Track, you doing it again?
No, but it was well worthwhile doing. I really enjoyed it.
Coward Springs, getting in the pool there, and then William Creek. William Creek just had a really cool vibe to it. But I'm never doing it again. And we didn't even do half of it. We didn't even go to Oodnadatta or the Pink Road House. But I've got no intention to do that again. It's just a lot of nothing. Like, and while the road was good,
It was very good.
as in like the condition of it, it's not something that there just wasn't that much to stop and see. If you like your train history for the GAN, but once you kind of stop in at one of those sightings or sidings or whatever they call them,
They all look the same after that.
yeah.
And the kids, it's nothing to do for the kids. They were bored. They were on their devices the whole time, which, you know, is fine. It was stinking hot out anyway, so they didn't want to get out. They didn't even want to get out and look at the sculpture park, which they kind of would have liked, but it was too hot.
Yeah, too hot. And we're probably, from what we heard from the guys at William Creek last time, we're probably 3 or 4 weeks ahead of like starting to get at a peak. April-ish is kind of it.
Yeah.
Just for reference, this will probably come out a little bit, but we're, I don't even know what the date is. It's the last week of March, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those hot temperatures start to subside. If you want to, you can fly into William Creek. You don't have to do the drive. You can fly in there and check it out. So, which I reckon is worth having a beer and a feed and checking out that part in the middle. That was really cool. So, Oodnadatta done. Tick that one off the bucket list. But yeah, I'm not going back.